Good morning. Now, could you get anything happier than that at 5:45 in the morning? A blazing fire, a sparkling Christmas tree, goodwill toward men. Well, goodwill towards most men. I don't suppose that there'll be too many that will have goodwill towards me. After some of my rants and raves this past week, and I suppose that now I started yesterday with a good old rant, and I might as well keep on up until Christmas, because somebody's got to play the Grinch, haven't they? The the Grinch has been around, okay. He went and stole Christmas from Lewis High Street, and I thought that Cliff would make up for it. I went down there over the weekend, and it's not much better. I really think we are the most miserable town. I think we should rename Lewis Grinch. Grinch Town. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Look, I've actually got more colour in my house than they got on the high street. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mean, this is what the high street looks like when it's not Christmas. And I was going to switch picture, but I can't. That's what it looks like during Christmas. Having said that, I really do have to say I want to make sure that the merchants, who in many ways have worked very hard to pretty up their shops and businesses along the streets, I have every admiration for you, because it's a battle in some ways that you can't win, because you need a fair amount of deep pockets to really light up the high street. We're not. It's not your job anyway. Yes, your premises, and I'm pleased to see it, and it is. Some of them are very, very pretty indeed, and you made a good effort. But I'm afraid that our lords and masters at the at the council. Oh, I'm sorry. Every time, at one time it was customer first that made me laugh. Now all you've got to do is say LDC. I'm going to try and book them in at the Palladium. That'd be a smash hit. Oh, well, never mind. Let's get serious. Do you know, there's something that I think that it is quite serious, and I think that it's worth a mention. I was walking through Victoria Station yesterday, and I've done quite a bit of that in the past 10 days or so. And everybody's rushing to get from point A to point B for whatever reason. And so they should. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of them now, whether they're travelling or not, carry these trolley suitcases behind them. And they use them as almost a battering ram to get through, and they charge through without understanding what's happening behind them, and almost knocking people over. I have to say, right, okay, we seem to have had a transmission failure there, but when that's happened before, things have kept going. So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully at least we're recording it, and perhaps we can get it back later in case you're not seeing me now. But people charge through the airport, they charge through the stations, they actually charge through the streets, dragging these things behind them and using them almost to forge a passage. Well, be warned, because I talked to a solicitor about this, and as far as I can make out is you better carry insurance if you intend to knock anybody over with your trolley, because much as you hit people with a car, hit people with a trolley, any injury and any disaster, knocking them over and so on and so forth, you're liable. So remember that next time that you go charging through the airport and you decide to use your trolley as a battering ram, is by all means. But be careful, if somebody you batter turns around and says they're going to sue you, don't leave the scene of the crime. Don't leave the scene of the accident, because you're liable. And a lot of people that don't, I think, understand that. And I can see there's going to be fisticuffs one day when somebody hits somebody else with one of those dragging suitcase trolleys or whatever you call them. And the chap says, hey, hang on, I need your name and address because I'm going to inform my insurance company. Just be careful. Just be careful. There are a lot of people who think that it's very funny. There's a lot of people who think that it helps them through. Hey, all you got to do is, as with a car, make a mistake. It's going to be costly. Believe me. Never mind. Now, just another note. I try hard not to take any moral position on a lot of things, because that way I can say some of the things I do without having taken a stance. So you don't hear me saying one way or the other about homeless people. But I do think that when we talk about prejudice, that's something quite different. And there's a hotel in Hull which took a booking from a charity for homeless people to spend the Christmas night in. And I think there were about 100 of them. Probably a very good gesture is, whatever you think about the homeless one way or another, it must be very nice on Christmas night to spend a night in a hotel. And it's quite a large hotel too. I mean, it wasn't ultra posh, but it was okay. But the hotel, obviously the owners or whoever found out about the booking, and they've written back and said, sorry, we can't uphold this booking after all. Oh, terribly, terribly sorry. And they won't give a reason. And there's no question that, in my view, everybody's interpretation of them being prejudiced against homeless people in their hotel is probably correct. But there's so many other things. We hear a tremendous amount about mental health and what's happening and so on and so forth. But I have several friends who are stretched, if you like. Most of them admit it. But it's amazing that nobody, lots of NIMBY-ish there. Hey, let's support this. Hey, well done the government. Hey, well done this, that and the other. Oh, but I can't actually, I wouldn't want to invite that person into my home. Oh, well, if you're coming with him or her, perhaps we rescind the invitation. It's all about, and it's all very well for people to yell and scream and thump their little toes on the pavement about what a caring society we are and how we're tackling these problems. Well, no, we're not. We're not, because until we all buy into it, it doesn't exist. And NIMBYism is rife, absolutely rife. And the wealthier the town, the wider the NIMBYism. I know I shouldn't laugh about such things, except we are, as a race, so bloody pompous. We think that we are so, quote, little liberal in our attitudes until it actually strikes us. And then, well, I not this week, perhaps next. Perhaps I can come to grips with these things next. So, hotel, do your damnedest. But also, if anybody gets on his high horse about it, remember how we sometimes react to some of these things. It ain't very Christian. Then there's another argument, isn't there? There's a mention of Lewes Racecourse in Lewes Eye. I'm not quite sure that I can get excited about planning applications when it's all to do with cinder tracks. But I certainly hope we don't give any planning application for houses up there, because it's a very beautiful and haunting. And when you go up, and because there's a good stretch of the track left, you get a feel of the history of that track, which went back to, well, some argue that it was probably in existence in 1700. And that, of course, the Prince Regent went up there all the time. And it is said that on the occasions that he did, that you could get up to 10,000 spectators, because as it is today, rubbernecking royalty was very much in the 18th and 19th centuries, very much part of daily life. I do think that there are things that could be done with the racecourse. I wish I'd got the time to sort of start things. Do you know, the big problem with starting things is that if you haven't got the time to finish them, then there's not much point. Right, okay, now, some people, isms are rife. And I've said on this program many a time is I am not an ism person. I don't get involved in isms. I don't care which ism it is, ageism, sexism, local councilism or whatever. And a lot of people that I know would say the same thing. They're not ism people. They are not biased. But, I get very hot under the collar when suddenly all those people who don't believe in isms go into ageism, because it is one of the things that's undermining our society is younger people can't see that some of us can still work, can still make contributions. Oh no, you're old, don't do it. I've suffered badly at the hands of the EU. So perhaps you can see I've got a slight bias when it comes to whether we leave or don't leave, but it doesn't matter whether we want to leave or not. I was absolutely amazed to read some comments from people for whom I have a great deal of respect, and I haven't lost the respect, by the way, but they would support all sorts of anti-bias, whether it be legislation, views, and so on and so forth, until it comes to age. And here, people that I know have been pouncing around on some of the local groups, saying, "Well, we've got to save our membership of the EU for the younger generation, for the new generation." Well, thanks, chaps. It doesn't matter which side of the fence I am, but I want to point out one or two things. Is Parliament in one hell of a mess. How old are they? Oh, at least 20 or 30 years younger than I am. Oh, so I'm saving it for them, am I? Oh, the trains. Who's in charge of the trains? Oh, people young. Younger than I am anyway. So thank you. You're throwing me as a sacrifice for the people that run the trains. What about the local council? Oh, much younger than I am. Chaos at Lewis District Council. Oh, what about an ism down at East Sussex County Council? Take the bus pass away. Charge for libraries. What sort of isms are those? Younger people doing it. Younger people. What else? Oh, yes. The trade unions who keep on cocking up the transport led by younger people. Fancy that? They're led by younger people. What else is? I made a list here. And I can't even read my own writing because I'm not young. but I can give you a list, chapter and verse, of the things that are cocked up in our society, and most of them are from younger people. Now, with all due respect, get off the pot, chaps. There are some older people who make great contributions and greater than this generation that you're defending and saving things for, including Brexit. Doesn't matter whether which side of the fence I am. It's just a silly nonsense argument. Is we're saving it for our younger generation. No, we're not. We're taking positions. That's what we're doing, and we have done. And we've argued and debated, and people have fallen out and so on. That's what it's all about. So don't start. The people who put their name to this, I'm absolutely astonished, because I know that they're very tolerant people. They're thinking people. But I think this whole argument about Brexit, and I try hard not to raise it in any serious sense, but this whole argument has made people lose their usual common sense. Oh, well, hang on, we're not ageist until it comes to whether we leave the European Union or not. Then, my God, I wish this thing had never started. I really do. And I'm not going to blame anybody, but it is quite remarkable how people will throw their principles out through the window just to defend this one way or the other. Well, I'm sorry. You've hardened my heart. If you're saying that our life as older people isn't worth the candle, then, with all due respect, I hate it when I have to use a swear word, but bugger you. I'm sorry, but I think that people of an older age are valuable, they make great contribution, and they're being cast aside by the younger generation who, with all due respect, when I look at absolutely anything, are running things inefficiently. I can't find anything that's efficient from this younger generation that I'm supposed to be protecting and saving for. Ha ha! You want to get me riled up, you start to talk about age. And, I mean, people like Ken Clark are... Oh, no. How old is he? I think he's nudging my age. Oh dear, I've just destroyed my own argument. Yeah, Ken can cock it up as well. Unless... Oh dear. I become ageist. Sorry, Ken. What a lovely rant I've had this morning. Oh boy. Do you know, NHS, why don't you write a prescription to people having a rant at 5:45 in the morning? It makes you feel so much better for the day. You really do go out ready to take on the world. It's great therapy. I suppose I have all sorts of other things to talk about this morning, but I've run out of time. So thanks for, and here's this 79-year-old saying, I'm going to go out now and I'm going to be useless. So all those people that know me can be well satisfied. Their argument has been underlined, underscored, probably is right. No, it's not. Ta-ra. Toodle pip.